Welcome to the Concierge Business Circle podcast, where we talk about scaling smarter, leading stronger, and creating the freedom you started your business for. I'm Candice Burris. Let's dive in. Today I want to talk about something that quietly frustrates a lot of business owners. Not lack of revenue, not lack of effort, but the feeling that the numbers should look better than they do. You're growing, your team is busy, your customers are happy, and yet at the end of the month, you look at your financials and you think, where did all the money go? This is far more common than people realize. In fact, many businesses doing between $3 and $15 million in revenue are unknowingly leaving six figures of profit on the table. Let me say that again. You are leaving six figures of profit on the table, simply because of misaligned financial structures and operations. Most business owners assume if the profit is low, there's got to be one big problem, but it's rarely the case. What I usually see instead is cash and profit leakage, small inefficiencies layered across the business. Pricing that hasn't been updated, vendors that haven't been negotiated, margins that aren't tracked by service line, overhead creeping up slowly, operational processes that waste time and labor. Individually, they could be small, but collectively, they easily add up to $100,000 to $400,000 of lost profit each year. And again, this is for $3 to $15 million businesses. It could be exponentially larger depending on the size of your business. The hardest part? Most owners never see it because they're too busy running the company. And another pattern I see constantly is strong revenue paired with tight cash flow. Business is selling, pipeline is active, but the bank account always seems under pressure. That usually points to a structural issue like misaligned pricing and margins, poor visibility into cash flow timing, operational inefficiencies such as collecting AR, or owner dependency in decision making, which of course will bottleneck. These aren't just accounting problems, they're leadership and structural problems. And until they're addressed, the business works harder every year just to maintain the same results. And remember, if you're not growing, you're dying. This is all very exhausting and it's all very unnecessary. Most companies don't need more motivation. They need diagnosis. Someone who can step back and ask questions like, where's the business actually making money? Where are your margins quietly eroding? Or maybe not so quiet. Where are your processes adding cost but not value? And what systems or leadership structures are preventing the company from scaling? Let me just give you a real example from something I worked on recently. So, as some of you may know, in a recent acquisition due diligence process, I spent the time digging through the financials, the structure, and the margins. And what became very clear was that the business wasn't broken, it just had inefficiencies layered throughout the system. So within, honestly, just a few hours, and certainly less than a couple of weeks, I identified about $180,000 of recoverable profit that could be captured within the first 90 days. And this is a $3 million plus, or around $3 million in revenue company. And that's $180,000 in 90 days. Simply by correcting some pricing alignment, tightening the operational processes, and improving visibility. So that discovery mattered, and it mattered a lot. And I've been doing that with every SIM that I see for these business acquisitions. Because when you understand where the profit is leaking, it directly impacts how you value that business. So in this case, identifying the $180K, it spurred my latest offer. I thought there was some real value that could be had with this acquisition. Unfortunately, it still didn't work out, even with the $180K lift I could have done. But this is exactly why financial clarity is so powerful for the operators and the buyers. So, I created a program, 90-Day Cash and Profit Recovery Intensive, to help companies identify hidden profit leakage, strengthen their visibility, and align the pricing, margins, and operational processes. and not by working harder and being more busy, but by fixing the structure of the business itself. So why do I care? The reason I care about this work is very simple. Too many business owners build companies that look successful from the outside, but they feel very stressful on the inside. I've been running those businesses for 20 years. So revenue does grow, complexity grows, but profit and freedom doesn't necessarily grow with it. So when you recover hidden profit and create the financial clarity, something powerful happens. The business becomes lighter. Cash flow improves, decisions get clearer, and growth becomes strategic instead of reactive. And the owner can finally start to feel like a CEO again. So if you're running a business that's growing, but the profit isn't where it should be, it may not be a revenue problem. It may simply be hidden leakage in the system. And the good news is those problems are usually fixable, and quite frankly, they can be fixed very quickly. Sometimes the biggest financial breakthroughs don't come from selling more, they come from keeping more of what you're already earning. So until next time, keep building your freedom. Thanks for tuning in to the Concierge Business Circle podcast. If today's episode gave you clarity or inspired action, share it with another business owner who's ready to step into their CEO role. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep building your freedom.